Stan Freberg here.
What you've just put on your tape deck is the last network radio comedy show in America, the Stan Freberg Show. Back in the summer of 1957, I was selected by the CBS radio network to replace the Jack Benny program, which had aired on CBS for many years. Jack left radio to devote more time to his television show. I guess he couldn't do both. Anyhow, that left a big hole in CBS's Sunday night lineup. I had started in show business at the age of 18, doing voices at Warner Brothers cartoons and working as a network radio actor. By the time I was 22, I was under contract to Capitol Records, the big round building in Hollywood. I was one of the original Capitol recording artists, along with Nat King Cole, Peggy Lee, Stan Kenton, and Frank Sinatra. So by 1957, my best-selling satiric records like St. George and the Dragnet, a spoof of the Dragnet TV show, The Banana Boat Song, and others, had been brought to the attention of the president of CBS at that time, Arthur Hull Hayes. I was actually suggested to Mr. Hayes by a friend of mine, the CBS Vice President of Programming, William Frug, now a famous author of books on screenwriting. The CBS network put me into the exact time slot vacated by Jack Benny, Sunday nights at 7. The medium of radio has always fascinated me. I've been a fan of radio as long as I can remember. Longer, actually. According to my mother, there was a radio dragged into the delivery room of the California Lutheran Hospital by a nurse who hated to miss young Dr. Malone. I was born then on August 7th, between the NBC chimes and a Rinso commercial, which makes me a Leo with Procter & Gamble as my rising sign. Anyhow, back to the Stan Freberg Show. I wrote the show each week with an assist from my great producer-director on the show, Pete Barnum. As a young actor working on famous network radio shows like The Man Called X, Suspense, The Henry Morgan Show, The Phil Harris-Alice Faye Show, and, of course, Jack Benny, I learned a lot from working with the greatest actors in radio. And I was especially fascinated by the sound effects men. I marveled at how they could create the sound of horses' hooves with 2 coconut shells or people walking through snow with a box of cornstarch. And years later, when I took over the Jack Benny time slot with my own show, I was thrilled that I inherited the 2 great sound effects men from the Jack Benny program, given to me by CBS. They were Bill James and Gene Twombly, who also did the CBS show Gunsmoke, that starred my friend, the great actor Bill Conrad. Gene Twombly taught me to do a lot of sound effects, and so did another great sound man I used on recordings many times, Jimmy MacDonald, the famous Academy Award-winning Disney sound man. The 2 of them taught me to do footsteps, horses' hooves, and many other effects, and I'm proud to say that I've done most of my own sound effects, or Foley, as it's sometimes called, in all of my work since then. They were my sound mentors. I got real good at coconut shells. They sit on my desk today, waiting for their next gig. Anyhow, Jack Benny insisted that no sound man but Gene Twombly do footsteps for him as he walked down the sidewalk or wherever. I also hired Gene to do the footsteps and the door opening and closing on my record, The Banana Boat Song, as I, as the calypso singer, kept running in and out. A famous sound pattern, as it turned out. To even dream up something like my version of the Banana Boat Song was due to my having been exposed to radio sound effects at an early age. And I can't forget one of radio's greatest sound man, Mr. Ray Erlenborn, who also taught me a few tricks. He worked on great radio shows like Red Skelton and then moved over to television where he did Red Skelton, Danny Kaye, and Carol Burnett for years. He also worked with me on albums of mine like Freberg Underground and my latest Rhino extravaganza, Stan Freberg Presents the United States of America, Volume 2. Anyhow, with me on the Stan Freberg Show, I had my longtime musical friend from Capitol Records, Billy May, arranging and conducting the CBS Orchestra, the Judd Conlon Singers, and the greatest, funniest little stock company of actors anybody could ask for, Dawes Butler, Peter Leeds, and June Foray. On the first Sunday night, standing at the mic in front of a packed studio audience, when Roy Rowan, the announcer, said the words, "From Hollywood, the Stan Freberg Show," a chill went up my spine. As a child of radio, this was a dream come true, really, my own radio show. and replacing one of my childhood idols, Jack Benny, was something I would never have imagined. There I stood... just a moment. Somebody at the door.
Hiya, Stan.
Well, Peter Leeds. What?
I was just in the neighborhood, Stan, so I thought I'd drop by.
Great. Well, I was just... Wait a minute. Somebody else at the door. Yes?
Well, hello there, Stan.
June Foray. By the way, did you ever notice how on radio, whenever a celebrity came to the door, the star of the show would always say, well, Edward G. Robinson, or, well, Marjorie Main.
Well, how else would the people at home know who is at the door?
Yes. How else would they know who it was? See? Yeah,
Oh,
you see?
I get it. By the way, were you guys really just in the neighborhood?
Well, actually, you, Stan, asked us here.
Yeah, have you forgotten?
No. Now I remember. Yeah, I did ask you guys to drop by.
Oh, you sure did. And could we speed it up a little? I have an appointment with my doctor.
Oh?
I'm having surgery.
Oh, nothing too serious, I hope.
I'm having my spine removed, so I'll look good in casual clothes.
I see. And June, it's always great to see you.
Well, likewise, Stan. It's always great to see you, too.
June Foray, of course, is one of America's most versatile acting persons.
Acting persons?
Just trying to be politically correct.
Well, what's wrong with actor?
Fine actor. June also is vertically challenged.
Oh, come on. Now, what's wrong with short? Just say that I'm short.
Yes, okay, she's a very short actor. Anyhow, June and Peter represent 2/3 of the stock company from our CBS radio series. The other great actor, Dawes Butler, can't be here today because he's passed on to that great radio series in the sky.
Oh, I know he's listening to it right now, Stan.
Oh, you
I'm
think
sure
so,
of
huh?
that. Oh.
Coming in okay, Dawes? Yeah, okay, Dawes says we're coming in fine.
Well, I'm sure
Yes, he'd be here if he could, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, Stan, do you remember when you were interviewing me as in St. Louis, Missouri?
Yeah, that was a great character you did. Edna St. Louis, Missouri. But the first time I interviewed you, she was a sculptress who sculpted out of margarine.
I was sculpting Fats Waller.
And also Fats Domino.
Fats Domino, that's right.
That's right. Yeah, you were doing
Yes,
a kind
I remember.
of margarine Mount Rushmore, I think. And,
That's right.
That was wonderful.
Yeah. But there was also another character. Remember, we talked about St. George and the Dragonette. You like that voice I did, for St. George and the Dragonette.
Yes.
So when you were interviewing me as Miss Universe,
Yeah.
I said, what voice shall I use, Stan? And you said the same one, so I was Miss Universe with 24, 24, 24.
Yeah, those were her measurements, yeah. Yeah, I remember that she was also the sister, I said, of Orville, my little spaceman that used to visit me once in a while from the moon.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Yeah, and he was outraged because you were denied entrance into the Miss Universe contest. And Orville said, if you're going to have a Miss World contest, fine, have a Miss World contest. If you're going to have a Miss Universe contest, shape up. Let's be tolerant of all planets. I said, nicely put, yes. And I said, well, maybe her measurements had something to do with it. Maybe she had the wrong measurements to get into Miss Universe. I said, what are your measurements again, ma'am?
24, 24, 24.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. On Jupiter, that's what they consider beautiful, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's why she was Miss Jupiter, yes.
But, your satire, which contradicts everything in society today, is so wonderful. And
Well, it just
it
makes-
doesn't happen these days
Right.
that you have satire and sophistication like this anymore.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I remember the thing I did with Dawes where he was the CBS censor.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Tweedley, he said his name was. And I was trying to sing Old Man River, and he would blow this horn every time I said something that the censor would find objectionable. So I said, Old Man River, bah. I said, what's the matter now? He said, some of the older people find the word old distasteful. Change that, would you please? So I said, fine. Elderly Man River, that anyhow. So I think that was the first time anybody ever did anything on political correctness. The censor was trying to get me to be politically correct in 1957 before we even knew the term politically correct. Anyhow, that's on this series of shows also.
elderly man River.
Well, I want to get in on a serious
Yes.
note, if I may. Is
Yes.
it all right with
Yes.
me?
Step right in,
To
Peter.
me,
Yes.
my fondest memories was the respect and the camaraderie that we all had during the show.
Yeah.
There was no tension. Everybody worked together, and it seemed like we were all having so much fun and enjoying ourselves.
Yeah,
that
that's-
to me was. And the thing that frightened the hell out of me one time was the time where I was the host and introduced you as the abominable snowman.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that you could do those two voices.
Yeah, that's right.
You
yes.
know.
Do it, Stan.
Yeah, I said, pardon me, sir, you are the abominable snowman. That's right,
Oh, my God, that kills
You
me.
okay? Okay, fine. Yeah, I have a
Always.
throat doctor that says, don't ever do that voice again, Stan. And he just made me do it. Okay? Okay, fine.
That kept me awake for nights, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, thanks. I did that on a television show one time, and the sound man running the boom, every time I would do the abominable snowman, he would move the boom over and he couldn't find the guy that was doing the abominable snowman. It bewildered the heck out of the guy. Anyhow, these were great shows, and there's nobody doing this kind of a show today,
Absolutely
unfortunately.
not.
Anyhow, I should mention that Dawes Butler, June Foray, who is probably the most famous voiceover person in the world, and myself were on various records of mine like Little Blue Riding Hood, St. George and the Dragon Net,
Oh, it was terrible. He was a fire-breathing dragon. He burned me already.
and Peter here was on Freberg records like the Rock Island Line and the Banana Boat song, you know. Day-o, day-o.
Oh, wow, man. I'll have to ask you not to shout like that.
Well,
It's too piercing, man. Too piercing.
well, I have to shout. The shout go with the bongo
no,
drums.
man, it's too piercing.
Okay.
And before we all worked on Stan Freberg Presents the United States of America, both volumes 1 and 2, we did this historic, award-winning radio series on CBS. June, Peter, thanks for coming by
Oh,
today.
thank you, Stan.
Well, it was so
reminiscent.
nostalgic. Thank
Yeah,
you
Brought back
so
such
much.
beautiful memories. My
Thank you.
gosh, it was
Yeah.
just
When we
fantastic.
were young.
Yeah, God bless you both. Anyhow, we hope you enjoy listening to these shows as much as we enjoyed doing them.